Hi, collective. This is Mrs. Honeybee of the Highest. I'm coming at you with episode 9 of the I Got Time podcast, and I am ready to dive right on into it. Are y'all well? Y'all gotta be well. I know the energies lately, for me at least, have been mad crazy. They have been mad crazy. Ooh, oh my God. Bless you, honey. Thank you so much. Look at that confirmation sneeze. Look at the blessings that I just received. And I recorded that shit, bitch, because I'm also sharing it with everybody else that's here because that's just my steez. Bless you, everybody. Bless you, everybody, including myself. I just recently woke up from a nap, and in my nap, I had this dream where I was with my little sister, and me and my little sister were getting picked up by what would have been our father, but we don't have the same dad, which is really crazy because in the dream, it felt like we had the same dad, but the dad that she has and the dad that I have was not the dad that was in the dream. So it was like there was this other father, i.e., source, right? That was picking us up from a place or a situation, and we got in the car. But when I got in the passenger seat, my sister got in the back seat, and then the gentleman who I thought was picking us up from like a movie set or a movie scene or something like that. And it also felt like there was something going on, like some type of hoopla that was going on, like a shootout or something like that. Like he was saving us from something. When I got in the passenger seat, my sister goes, "Oh no, brother, you're gonna drive the car. Dad's gonna drive the other car." So he got into this like sports, like BMW type vehicle. We were in this like black expedition type truck. So then I get in the driver's seat. I put the car in drive, but then the car starts going in reverse. And ironically, we don't hit anybody. And I was like, why is the car still going in reverse? And I'm trying to put my foot on the brake, but the brake ain't braking. And then out of nowhere, girl, I then look behind me and I realize that there is a car right there that I just barely missed. And I said, okay, no, what's going on with the gear shift? So then I switched the gear shift to like the actual drive one. It was so fucking weird. And finally the car just stopped. And I said, who? Oh my God. I was a little bit worried for a second, but I kept feeling like, don't let me hit a car. Don't let me hit a car. Don't let me hurt anybody else. Then finally we start driving. We get on the road, but then the brakes kind of stop working. Then Kerry Washington comes in the dream. She's on the right side sitting in a chair on the sidewalk, and my car done slowed down by this point. She looked angry, and I was like, are you okay? And she was like, I just lost an assistant. And I was like, okay, you know. And then I started thinking about her as I was driving, wanting to text her and say condolences. Then I lost where the fuck I was that I was going. And then from there, I threw my phone because I was trying to use my phone to find the directions, but I had my sister in the car, and I remembered that she used to feel so scared driving in a car with me because I used to eat food, drink soda, drive with my knee or my foot, and then also be speeding down the way and changing the music and sending texts all while driving with her in the car. And she didn't tell me during the time that she felt unsafe, but it was when she grew up that she was like, brother, you used to drive really freaking crazy when we were younger, and I didn't like it. So then in this dream, I threw my phone to the back. I said, baby sis, I said, can you please go ahead and look up the directions for where we're going? We wanted food, so then we stopped for food and we was getting tacos. But where we stopped to get the food for the tacos, there was a moment where I couldn't really fit through the traffic, but I tried to squeeze through and I said, this ain't gonna work. So I stopped for a second. Then from there, we were ironically outside of the car by this point. We go order the Mexican food that we were gonna get, and then her and I just start walking, and finally we calm down. I'm like, I put my arm around her and we're just walking. I'm like, yeah, girl, let's just go. Let's just live our time. Let's go have fun, brother and sister. And as we're doing our thing, then it comes to a place where like we've been walking for what felt like a little bit of a while. And I was like, wait, I said, girl, how long have we been walking for? I was like, probably a minute. I said, girl, our food is probably ready. We forgot we ordered food. So then we get on the map and I said, wait, which Mexican spot did we go to? And she was like, well, I think it was this one. And I was like, well, I feel like it was this one though. And then I said, okay, let's look at this. I said, let me go ahead and pull up the map. I said, did the Mexican space that we go to, the Mexican food spot, I said, was it on the corner? She goes, yep, that does feel right. I was like, that feels right with me too. So then it would have to be this one. So then we were on our way back to the spot to go get the Mexican food. But by this point, and once we came to an agreement, her and I woke up. I want to take a minute and discern a message from that dream. First thing that pops into my head is the Kerry Washington part. I used to live this life because I also remember I left set, right? We left set, we got in the vehicle. Once we got in the vehicle was going in reverse, and then it was about to hit people, and then finally it started moving forward. It was all this hoopla, or we left a scene, right? I feel like I used to put so many different people ahead of myself. I feel like I used to expect so many other individuals to make decisions that I felt I would have made in their position. And I personally feel like I wanted other people to take responsibility for the safetyness in my own life and drive my car. And that's not a life that I want to continue to live anymore. I'm a girl right now who takes Uber or public transportation everywhere I go. Or I let one of my friends drive in that I didn't have a car. I now feel like it's time for me to align with the reality where I have my own car again, where I start driving again. Yes, I drive in my body, and something in my spirit now says, honey, I think it's time for you to also start driving physically. You've already chosen a city to live in. You really love this place. You don't got to get a new car tomorrow. It's just now time to open your heart, open your soul, open your spirit, open your field up to also now driving a physical car. And I choose to do that for me. So at this time, I now open my heart up and allow a car to divinely present itself into my reality. It will divinely show up in my life. I will divinely have all of the resources for it. My license will be prepared to also drive this vehicle legally. I'm excited and I am thrilled to be a part of this new experience where I'm in a reality where I drive a car and a vehicle and I get to be the driver and other people get to be the passenger in my vehicle. I'm excited for this. I also have driven a car within the last several years and I do drive really well. My cousin was like, honey, I love the way you drive. You drive really well. Why don't you drive? And I said, well, girl, transparency, I don't have a license. She goes, oh, you're not driving my car again. She goes, but babe, you need to have a license. She was like, you drive really well. You could probably do Uber and da 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 da. And that could be not for me. That's not what I want to do. I'm not trying to be anybody's chauffeur like that. However, I really do love the idea of being able to drive myself. I already service the collective in such a remarkable way. I don't need to let my entire life be filled with servicing people, servicing people, servicing people, servicing people, servicing people. I want to also be serviced. I deserve to be serviced. I deserve to experience what it's like to have people service me. And so this dream makes me feel like there are individuals in life right now that I am accountable for because I'm choosing to be. And they're also choosing to be passengers in my vehicle. And I feel that I lead and guide so many spiritually that this is just me taking mental note. Be mindful of how it is that you drive because you do got people in the car. Be mindful of the speed and the pace at which you move because you do got people in the car. The way that that translates for me is stay consistent with your collective that you're choosing to be assisting with their ascension. That could have been a motherfucking tongue twister, okay? Be deliberate with how you speak. Be clear with how you communicate. Be sincere, be genuine, and be fair. Be honest, be transparent so that it is the most delectable frequency that can be received so easily, so universally understood because you're letting your spirit speak and not coming from a place of the ego. When I used to drive erratic, I was like, people are going to keep up. If they're going to keep up, that's just going to be what it is. I'm already building a university right now that requires me to be a teacher for other individuals. And I used to be a dance teacher for several years, a dance assistant for several years, a professional dancer for, oh my God, 20 years, 10 years, whatever. I started dancing when I was 13. And then I put up my shoes, if you will. The last gig that I did, the last dancing situation I did was the Todrick Hall wig video. And that was sometime around 2019. That was when I did my last dancing situation, if you will. I did do some TikTok dancing stuff and I won a competition that was with this one hair care brand that was held by Ashley Everett, and the competition had to do with the Beyonce choreography. I've been getting to the money. Wow, wow, boom. Hey, everybody mad. Wow, wow, wow. So I did that choreography and was one of the winners of that competition as well. So that was really cool. Yet, since then, I haven't done another dance performance specifically that I can remember, at least. Yet, I've continued to dance. So if we just add all my years up of dancing, I've been dancing since I've been 13. I'm 34 now. So shit, we're looking at what, 21 years of dance? Now, when it comes to being a teacher as of today, who can reflect on my experiences as a teacher when I was 18 all the way up until, when did I stop teaching? I used to teach on the cruise ships as well. So then I was probably about 26, 27 when I stopped teaching. So that was almost 10 years of teaching dance. Myself, as a dance teacher, understood that you cannot try to teach your children choreography or your students choreography, because I also used to teach competition studios. So when it comes to teaching dance, myself had to learn, when your students are not catching on to the choreography, babe, you got to slow down. You're teaching the students. You already know the choreography. You're not teaching yourself, and you're not there to dance for yourself. If that's the case, book studio time for you and bust down. When you're teaching the class, you gotta honor what's happening with the class. So if you made up this sickening ass routine and they're just not catching on, they're just not getting it, oh then babe, you got to go ahead, slow down, and allow for people to catch on how they catch on. And if you don't teach the whole routine, then that's just going to be what it is, baby. Teach it at your next class, which is maybe later in the week. Yeah, if you don't know how dance studios work, back in the day at least, we used to have Jazz 3 on Mondays and Wednesdays, Jazz 2 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, whatever that would be, right? So you would have sometimes multiple classes a week. I used to teach 10 classes a week. So sometimes I would teach the same group of kids 3 times a week or 2 times a week. And so we'll be like, okay, look, we didn't finish the choreography today. We'll finish it in the next class, but this is where we're going to stop today because I see y'all are not really getting it. And I want to work through this so that way you can feel confident in this specifically. That's just how I am as a teacher. I learned that from my sister again, Juanisha. She taught me about focusing on the students, how you get your students to actually elevate. And it's not the quantity you teach them, it's the quality of what you teach. And my sister teaches down, baby, okay? She produces results. Amen. Her students go off. Amen. There's a plethora of us that she has taught. And our resumes are cute. Our work ethic is cute. Our worth ethic is cute. Our reputation is cute. Again, shout out to my older sister because she really did that. And she's been teaching dance since she's been 19. We're 10 years apart. I'm 34, so she's 44, period, and I say an amen. I live. That's my sis. I'm a Capricorn. She's a Virgo. We eat it up together, okay? Back in the day, we were on So You Think You Can Dance together and it was just for the LA run. And I would have never did that without her, in that I didn't do it without her, 1. 2, I only did it because she was like, it's my last year being able to audition. Please, brother, do this with me. And I'm like, okay, girl, period. Let's do it. Let's fuck it up. And we had such a good time. We didn't make it to Vegas, and we ended with the second days of auditions, but we did get our own little segment, which was cute. We did have an interview with what her name is, Kat Deely. And it was fun being in that segment of twins and siblings auditioning together. So I love that. I love that. So thank you to my sister for inviting me to have that experience with her, trusting me in that experience with her, and welcoming me to be a part of her journey as well. I feel like I'm getting emotional thinking about it and talking about it. So now, as of today, as I'm creating this spiritual university, myself is reminding me, hey, honey, when you were driving this vehicle, you got people in the car. So please be mindful of how you're driving. Be mindful of how you're leading folks. Allow for your ego to be that which does not guide, but what listens. Let your ego listen. And now I have a friend that I've been connecting with recently, and her and I have been having such in-depth philosophical conversations, and today was talking about ego. Now let's dive into the ego further. I personally feel like there is this image that God is giving me, that Source is giving me, and I want to share it with you. And it is this roll of film. There are exposures, and the ego takes those exposures and projects them through one's eyes so that you can see the different frames known as a moment or an experience. And these are also how our memories, I feel like, play out. Yet we fill in these blanks and we create movies or recreate these flowing pictures from still shots. Yet it is us being able to have an ego that allows for us to play this game where we get to learn, where we also get to build and experience what it's like to have an idea come into fruition. We can be so intuitively inclined and even so connected to our bodies and our systems, our inner systems, that we are capable of feeling an idea or a concept immediately resonate with us and take root. Then we can also immediately feel the structures in our body change, where now we have accepted it as truth and it now has a full structure in our body where we'll now start sharing that with other people. And I feel that with an ego, we have the experience, and on this 3D plane, we have the experience of slowing things down, packing it on, which is the equivalent to building these buildings. We take these ideas and we come up with so many different ways in which we can make it true, and those are the building blocks that create such firm or stable structures known as our belief, known as the narratives that we play over and over again. I really, in this moment, my ego is getting so involved in this message that I'm delivering to you right now, because I want to make sure that you get what I'm talking about. And this is where I'm needing to sit my ego down and say, ego, my love, I love you so very much, yet you are a listener and you are a deliverer, yet you are a deliverer of that which you receive from spirit. So I need you to get out of the way, because we are having to re-record this episode 75 million fucking times. Exaggeration, simply because you're in the way thinking there's a perfect way to deliver this message, because when you try to take the route of re-recording the voice notes on the podcast, you didn't enjoy it. So simply let yourself channel, because that is who you are. You are a channel. That's okay. So in this moment, I allow myself to simply channel this message that I would love to share with you all about the ego. I truly believe that the ego is a friend. I truly believe that the ego is on your team, is on my team, is on our team. I truly believe that we are down here in a 3D dimension, a dimension where things just move a little bit slower, where vibrations are slower, yet we can channel higher vibrations, we can channel more frequency, we can move at a faster pace, yet there's still a collective vibration down here that does still oscillate at a particular speed, and it doesn't move as fast as we move consciously. And that is so we can really experience the wealth that comes from being information seeping into roots, information that's nourishing roots, information that is being gathered from soil or being packed into the soil, so that way it can further travel through the mycelium to go to the next plant or the next person or the next consciousness. You guys are getting what I'm talking about. We're simultaneously experiencing, because we are multidimensional beings, what it's like to immediately get an idea, understand the truth of it, and have it take root, but also experience a 3D expression of it, where we are taking still shots and frames of these thoughts and ideas and diving further into them and considering them through other perspectives and other perceptions and other languages and through other symbolism, and really packing on this coding that says, wow, yeah, I really do love that. That is a solid foundation. That is a solid ground. Let's move forward with that. Let's go go deeper with that. Let's build more around that. And I feel that that is what this game is down here on earth. It is an experience where we get to slow down. Spirit moves so infinitely quick. Spirit can also move so infinitely slow. I feel that spirit is able to, consciousness is able to move at a multitude of speeds simultaneously, and we get to choose which speeds that we tap into and which frequencies we tap into. And I personally feel that right now myself is tapping to a frequency where I am actually slowing down, where myself is saying, I know that I learn quickly. I'm 34 years young, and I already gathered so many different concepts and perspectives that are in ancient texts that I've never read, but I only know those texts exist with these same concepts that I've channeled because I've shared them with other people, and people are like, oh, you're talking about the this. Oh, you're talking about the that. And I'm like, no, I'm talking about what I'm talking about. And they're like, no, this is in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. This is in the Power of Now. You know, this is in the that. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. We'll bet. That's awesome. I'm glad that someone else also has this information. I'm glad that this information is also somewhere else. I'm glad that someone else is also channeling this, because I don't believe that I'm the only one, and I definitely don't need to be. It's cool having peers and other individuals who share this information as well, because then we can expand each other. Now, this whole concept of the ego as well, I personally feel like some of us can't pick up a message unless we're receiving it from somebody else. Some of us, I feel like we truly need someone else to tell us what we already know in order for us to have it click. I feel like that experience is an egoic experience. It's us choosing to learn, and we're learning from another person who has learned the information from somewhere else. I personally choose to learn from individuals who speak from a place of knowing, from an inner knowing specifically. I'm an individual who does that myself, so that is what I do align with. I believe that what I'm sharing with you is what I know in my soul. I know it in my goddamn soul. I know it in my bones. I received it from me. I tried it and tested it out with me, being led by the me that was teaching me about what the fuck it was. And that is where I come from, which is why I personally do feel that I have the individuals who resonate with me, and why so many do resonate with the stuff that I teach. I'm like, damn, honey, you really be hitting, you really be slapping on these beautiful ass concepts, and you make them make sense. And it's because I believe that I share them from a place of inner knowing. I make sure that I live them out. I test the waters. I be in the motherfucking sea, and I dive to the depths. I pick up the sand, and I let the grains move through my fingers, and I let myself feel the different textures so that I am able to communicate it as universally as possible. I feel that the ego allows for us to be able to share this information in that way, because ego can communicate multiple languages, whereas spirit is just vibration. Spirit is just hum. Spirit doesn't speak necessarily. Spirit just is. Spirit just. And that is all. Yet I feel that spirit wanted to experience the depth and wealth of its own self. And so it created these realms that were more dense, so that way itself can slow down and be able to experience itself moving. It's like being able to capture through a specific camera ghost activity or paranormal activity in a home. And then you're like, do you see that motherfucking fog over there? Damn, it made a shape. That was a person. Look, it looks at us. Look at the different exposures. Oh my God, look at this thermodynamic fucking imagery. Oh my God, look, it's doing this, and it smiled, and it's, oh my. We're only able to capture that if we slow down the experience, or slow down the moment, or slow down time, or slow down space, or slow down energy, frequency, shape. And in that moment, we have now frames, we have steals, we have captures. And that is what ego is, or that's the concept of ego working with spirit and body. I personally feel that we're not here to get upset at the ego or punish the ego for what it does. We're here to teach the ego different ways in which it's able to be. So personally, I don't feel that the ego is a bad thing. I don't think that ego is a harmful thing. I feel that ego is a learning mind, and it is able to relearn, reteach, It is able to share. It is able to slow down. It is able to understand. It is able to gather. It is able to. It enjoys also repetition. It does it so easily, and that's so wealthy. I feel like that is where wealth comes from. It comes from the ego. The ego is something that will in abundance something. Okay, the ego will do something over and over and over and over and over again. It will fill up the cup with so much that now it's overflowing. The ego will fill something up. The ego will create a shape to be filled up. This is what I feel about the ego. The main purpose of this entire podcast episode was to talk about the ego. And in this moment, my ego wants to share with you everything that it can about itself. And that's not what this is about. I'm not here to stress myself out trying to give you everything at once, because that's quite literally what this message was about too. Slow down. Don't feel like you got to give it all. Take a moment, let things marinate, let things digest, let things sit for a second. That's marinate. Let things absorb. Let things cook. Let things be received and processed. That's what I feel like my dream was about. I know you're going to have these really large ideas and concepts, and it's going to take a minute for people to understand, if they even choose to. Give them time to understand in their own way, and then also formulate their own concepts or be able to add on and elaborate how they choose. Don't need to be right. Just be honest. Just channel honestly. Just be fair with yourself. Just be real with yourself. Just be real with yourselves. Ashe. And so that's all I really wanted to share as of right now when it comes to the ego. I love y'all, and I thank y'all for subscribing to I Got Time podcast. Again, this was episode 9. I'm Mrs. Honeybee of the Highest. Your energy is yours always. My energy is mine always. And we close with unconditional love for the whole self. And so it is Ashe. I want to say thank you to every one of you that chooses to listen to all of these episodes. Thank you to each and every one of you that chooses to listen to these episodes multiple times. Thank you to those of you who choose to support me across my different timelines, my different multiverses, my different social media platforms. Thank you guys. Some of you have been here with Clubhouse, with TikTok, with Instagram, with Facebook, with Snapchat, with Twitter, with Threads, with the Buzz, which is the newsletter, with the YouTube, and with Patreon. Y'all have been such great supporters, and I continue to receive support. I continue to receive listeners. I continue to receive subscribers. I continue to receive fans. I continue to receive lovers. I continue to receive connections and friends, and I continue to receive followers. I continue to receive all that which my spirit says, honey, accept. It is for you. It is a gift. It is for you. It is a gift. It is for you. It is a gift. And for so long, I have unconsciously denied myself because I wanted to be as fair as possible. And I felt like the followers and the this and the that and the numbers and the fans and the stands and the la 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 la. I felt like it was just messy because I grew up in spaces that were known with those dynamics in those languages, and it didn't feel healthy. I choose to operate differently today, where I'm not making something out to be what it's not. It may be the same language. It may be similar language, but it doesn't have to have the same meaning. It doesn't have to resonate the same. I'm someone with such a kind and generous and gentle heart, a nurturing heart. And today I allowed myself to also honor the fact that yesterday I gave some readings, and when I gave those readings, I said some things that I felt like were so unfair. I felt like they were mean. I felt like they weren't on. I felt like they were honestly spoken, but they didn't have any factual evidence of being truth. So they were really just opinions. And I don't always let myself share my opinions because I feel that it's dangerous. Yet I now understand that everything I share is a goddamn opinion. It could be a fact if I want to say it is, but if someone feels like it's not a fact and enough people say that it's not fact and anything of that sort, then it can be deemed as just not factual to the point where I start questioning it. Then at that point, the fact is just fucking faulty at that point. Like, I don't want things to be so messy, yet they get to be. We get to have messiness just like we get to have an untouched forest. We get to have messiness just like we get to have tornadoes and hurricanes coming through, doing what they do and creating what they create from their expressions. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. I can alleviate myself from pressuring me to be so perfect in delivery and design and expression, and I can just say, honey, you did good, kid. You did good, kid. You channeled, you listened, you shared. That's your art form. You did good, kid. You don't always gotta create the best dance and redo the choreography 85 million times until you feel like it's perfect, 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 perfect. Rehearsing the kids over and over and over and over again. They're tired, babe. At some point, you gotta just say, hey, the competition's tomorrow. What we have is what we have. We did a really great job. Let's go get some rest. Let's go get some sleep. Tomorrow we're going to compete and we're going to have fun. Whatever awards we get is what we get. It's completely all right. Chill out, babe. It's not about winning. It's just about playing the game. It's not about winning. It's not, because it's also not about losing either. It's not about beating ourselves up for the loss. It's about allowing ourselves to just live. And I feel that that concept also aligns with life, where it's not about dying here. So you don't got to be so concerned with death and so afraid of death and centering death surrounding everything you do to the point where you don't end up living, because it's also not about living specifically to the fullest, which is why it's not about dying either, which is the absence of life in its fullest. It's about just being alive, just being here, just being present, just being awake, just being included, just being involved. It's that happy medium. It's enjoying the center of the seesaw, because without the center, then we don't have that equilibrium that allows for us to go up and down. I love y'all, man. I feel like we deliver so many juicy fucking gems and messages in this one podcast episode. And again, if you guys ever want any specific episodes discussing any concepts, or you want my opinions or my perception or my ideals of anything or my point of view on something, just let me know. I'm looking forward to continuing to expand. Oh, that was another dream that I had earlier, by the way, as well. There was this dream where I was on my bed and I was talking to this college administrator or counselor, and I was trying to register for school again. And she was like, oh, we actually just missed the deadline. And then there was this ginormous fucking calendar that I was crawling on top of trying to see it, but it was too big. And I was like, oh, okay. And I kind of got sad, and I was like, well, you know what? Honestly, and then I started talking out loud I realized that I was talking out of my mouth for real, and not just in the dream, because I started to hear it from my outer ear. And I was like, you know what? School is just not for me. I keep trying to register to school. I keep trying to involve myself in the school system, and it just never really aligns. So I'm just going to take this as my final message and just say I'm done with it. And that's actually what was like also waking me up as well. Like that woke me up to like, whoa, I think that's actually what woke me up, is that after this dream with my sister, yes, that's what happened. I'm pretty sure that's what happened, because that's what I remember. Wait, I was like, am I talking? And then I was like, oh shit, I'm awake. Okay, I guess I'm awake now. And it was like, that just randomly happened after the scene with my sister. It was that I was trying to register for school. And I was like, I'm just going to allow myself to go through my own means and just follow my spirit. And I felt so down. But it was that my ego felt like school was how it was that I'm supposed to be teaching and da-da-da. But it's actually, hey, you're going to teach through schooling, yes, but you're creating your own schooling. You're not learning from school specifically, not the school that is already a system that is something that you don't align with, clearly. Like, you've been trying to do schooling for umpteen years. I graduated high school in 2008 and have tried to go back to college since then. It's 2024, babe. 2025, damn, like, girl, give it up. Give it up, babe. I know they say school will always be there, but there's also a school that's happening right now that's called real life. And so you can learn from this because that's clearly what you do and you already teach. And I'm already teaching a plethora of people. A lot of people learn from me. A lot of people listen to me. A lot of people receive from me. And it's individuals who also teach others. I teach a lot of teachers. I teach a lot of mentors. I teach a lot of coaches. I teach a lot of spirit guides. I teach a lot of spiritualists and shamans and mediums. I teach a lot of therapists. I teach a lot of these folks. I teach a lot of authors. I teach a lot of scholars. I teach a lot of these individuals already. And so this is just another layer. And I'm ending this episode with I choose to let go this notion or this belief that I'm going to go back to school at some point. I'm fucking done. It's okay. It's okay. And goodbye, y'all. See you later.